Welcome to the 5th lesson of this theoretical series of 8 lessons by Al Ali Driving Centre. You should drive safely for you, your passengers and other road users all the time, across all weathers and across all conditions. It might be easier to drive safely if all conditions are perfect. You have perfect view of what's in front and around you. The weather is good, you have no distractions and there is no traffic congestion. Well, even if the perfect condition happens rarely, you can still stay safe. In this lesson, you'll learn how to safely drive in different environments, during the night, or when the sun shines very brightly, resulting to sun glare, when there is fog and sandstorm, when it's raining and/or there are floods, when the roads are slippery and sandy, and when there is heavy traffic congestion. If you find some of the items I mentioned repetitive, that's because they are very important and very critical. Let's first recap some important concepts learned in previous lessons. There is a time lag from when you perceive a hazard to when you hit the brakes. This is known as reaction time. During this time, your vehicle will cover some distance, known as the reaction distance. Your reaction time determines your reaction distance. Once you hit the brakes, your vehicle will still cover some distance before coming to a full stop. This is known as the braking distance. Your total stopping distance is the sum of your reaction distance and your braking distance. Safely, your stopping distance should be shorter than the distance of your vehicle to the vehicle in front of you so that you do not end up crashing to that vehicle. This is called safe following distance. In good conditions, this is about 2 seconds. In the previous lesson, you've learned how your reaction time is affected by age, alcohol, drugs, fatigue and stress, and we have given you some tips to address them, including the laws you need to abide by. We also talked about internal and external distraction. Our focus in this lesson is to address minimizing the impact to your reaction time of external distractions and visibility due to the different environments. By now, you should know that your braking distance is affected by pressure applied to the brakes, efficiency of the brakes, weight of the vehicles, speed of the vehicles, conditions of the tyres, type of road surface, weather conditions. The type of the road surface and the weather conditions is something you cannot control, but you can still minimize the risk by ensuring that your vehicle is in a good condition and that you are driving at an appropriate speed according to the environment. Your objective at all times is to maintain a safe following distance that allows you to stop safely. Ensure that you can recognise hazards in a timely manner. Keep these 2 things in mind as we get started. The risk of a crash is higher at night. However, if you drive carefully, you can reduce the added risk of driving after dark. This is very important when you're a new driver, as you may have only had a few driving lessons with your driving instructor at night. Driving at night is much different from driving during daylight. Pedestrians are harder to see, especially those wearing dark clothing. Motorcyclists and cyclists can also be difficult to see, particularly if they are not using their headlights. Sometimes this even applies to other vehicles. Keep your speed down and you will have time to react. You should be able to stop within the distance you can see. In rural areas, this will be the range of your headlights. But remember, it is more difficult to judge speed and distance at night. In 2010, more than half, 52% of all crashes in Dubai occurred at night. Lower your speed, especially when driving at night, to improve your safety and the safety of others. Note: you must use the lights of your vehicle from sunset until sunrise, as well as during the day where the view is unclear. The lights must be on the front and the rear of the car. Some procedures and tips for night driving. Make sure that windows, mirrors and lights are clean as possible. Look ahead and scan the roads. Aim your headlights correctly. If you've been temporarily blinded by headlights of oncoming vehicles on high beam, do not also put your headlights on high beam. If your headlights are on low beam and you see something in the shadows ahead, make sure that you slow down until you are sure there is no danger. When following close behind another vehicle, keep your headlights on low beam. Stay back far enough so that your headlights do not shine through the rear windows of the vehicle in front. You must be travelling not faster than the speed at which you can stop within the range of the headlights. This limit is usually at least 12 seconds in front of you, depending on conditions and whether you are using low or high beam. You must at least keep 3 or 4 second gap while driving in a night to avoid crashes. Many modern cars have night mirror adjustments. This adjustment allows the internal rear vision mirror to be set differently at night so that the driver is not dazzled by the lights of cars behind them. How our eyes see at night. Driving at night has additional dangers, mainly because it is difficult to see at night. As many of the hazards are harder to see, the driver therefore has far less time to react and avoid them. Drivers see shorter distances ahead. Pedestrians and animals are harder to see. Be aware that some ride bikes with no lights. You also need to be aware of colours which affect visibility, the light glare and the results of seeing headlights and high beams. There are also some eye conditions that make it more difficult for some drivers to drive at night. Here are the reasons on how colour affecting visibility affects drivers and tips to avoid them. Be alert and on the lookout for pedestrians wearing dark clothing. If needed, use your headlights to increase visibility. To avoid light glare, avoid looking directly to the oncoming vehicle's light and flip your rear view mirror to avoid glare from vehicles behind you. Some drivers have eye conditions that make it difficult for them to see at night, so have your eyes checked regularly. Clean your lights, mirrors and windshield regularly and properly to help you see better. Headlights and high beams. Headlights on high beam help you see further. They should only be used on highways without lighting, not in areas with street lighting. When the view is not clear enough to drive safely. This includes other situations when it is difficult to see, even if it is daytime. Because high beam may dazzle the oncoming driver's eyes, you should dip to low beam when another vehicle is within sight. You should also dip your headlights when you are approaching another vehicle from behind. Note, high beam lights must only be used on highways which do not have overhead lighting when needed to improve the view ahead. They must not be used when another vehicle is coming from the opposite direction. Look to the right side of the road and drive towards the right of your lane if a car with high beam on is coming towards you. If you are dazzled by the lights, slow down and pull over until you can see again.